Hello, hello, truckers, and welcome to Little Simulator. I'm only kidding, this is X-Plane 12, but I did just realise that there is a little in X-Plane 12, which I think is quite cool. And thankfully, for all of us, there is actually an airport here. We've got a Lufthansa 1170 taxiing over here. If we've got the right livery. Oh, it has. It's loaded in the Lufthansa livery on that A320ceo. Little engines. And sharp braking there. And if you look behind it, you can see our amazing Airtours A330-900, cold and dark, just waiting for us to switch it on. So we're going to hop into here. I think I saw somebody left the cargo doors open before, but they now appear to be shut. So we're here at Lisbon. There's a TAP Portugal aircraft coming into land here at Lisbon Airport. I saw a couple of other aircraft. There's an Iberia, there's an EasyJet, there's another TAP. Spinning. Yeah, Lisbon is fairly busy this evening. Let's hop into the cockpit and we'll get some lights on. So it looks like our external power is already on, which should give us our access to our checklist. So I want to be really strict now. I'm going to get back into training and I want to try and complete my PPL by the end of the summer. So I need to go back into the habit. I want to get those good habits working again and start doing checklists, which I have been a little bit lazy about. Okay, so let's go through this together. So we are now on board an A330-900, cold and dark. All we've done so far is turn on the external power. I haven't even turned on the batteries yet, so we'll do this properly. So start off with engine 1 and 2 masters switched off. So those are down between the pilots. Engine 1 and 2 switched off. I've just taken a quick glance as well that the engine start is in normal, because that's coming up soon. Engine start select as normal, so I'll tick both of those. Weather radar system off. Weather radar passive wind shear. Predictive wind shear. Oh no, I've just turned off the parking brake. How do I make this arm get out of the way? So turn into a hand. There we go, get out of the way. So we've got the... Can I turn that off? Yes, that's off, and predictive wind shear is off as well. That's just so we don't irradiate the ground staff, the ground crews. Landing gear, check. Landing gear lever is down, correct. Check. Wipers off. Don't know why that's so important, but wiper off, and the co-pilot's wiper is also off. Check. Batteries 1, 2, APU backed, check off, check those before. Batteries 1, 2, APU back voltage, check above 25.5 volts. We don't really need to do this, obviously we're in a simulator, but we're trying to be really good. So battery 1 is above 25, battery 2 is above 25, APU battery is also above 25. Batteries are looking good, tick. APU 1, 2 and APU battery 2 auto, batteries 1 and 2, and APU batteries to auto. And you can see very nice that the battery load is starting to shift there. That's quite a nice bit of detail. That's on auto. External power already on. Sorry, I jumped ahead. After 20 minutes, that's not the case here. We're just going to fly, so we don't need to turn these batteries off now. All batteries are still above 25. Let's assume they are. If available light on for external power on, we've already turned that on. If starting APU now, let's start the APU now. Now remember in the last video I said that the systems here are really smart. If there is something that the pilot needs to be aware of, then this bottom screen will automatically switch to it. So right now it knows we're on the ground. It's currently set to doors, so we can check that all the doors are closed before we depart. But if I was to start the APU by pressing the master switch on, it immediately switches to the APU screen. So all we've done now is just switched on the master switch, but we haven't started the APU. We'll go to the on switch there, and what we'll see is the flap will open. That will allow air to flow into the auxiliary power unit, a small jet engine. So you get the same EGT, exhaust gas temperature, you get the same end speed, that's turbine spinning speed. So this is going to increase up to 100%. EGT hopefully won't get much more than 600 degrees. I haven't seen it much more than that. If it gets more than that, then it's probably overheating and we need to turn it off. But as long as it doesn't go up to that red line, I am happy. So once that gets up to 100, you should then start to see that the APU generator becomes available. And it is at 115 volts, 400 hertz. And we've currently used £10. And because that's all absolutely hunky-dory, all good, it's switched us straight back to the doors because we don't need to worry about it anymore. Fantastic system. So if starting the APU now, we need to do the APU fire, APU agent, and APU fire test. That takes us to slide into the top. So APU, we need to test this. I don't know how loud this is going to be. Apologies. Yep, so that works. All that works. So we have APU fire, push button in and guarded, APU agent light is out, and we pressed the test button and it was really loud and it was really cool. Let's move on. Overhead panel, all white lights are off. All white lights aren't off. And this is the beauty again of the Airbus cockpit philosophy. I'm actually just going to switch these IRSs, the inertial reference systems. I'm going to get these laser gyros spinning because that takes a little bit of time. But what I'm actually here to do is to turn off any white lights. These are our fuel pumps, and although I'm turning them on by the looks of things, I'm actually changing them to auto, same as we did with the batteries. They're not on, there's no engines running right now. The aircraft is smart enough to know that we've just armed the pumps. They're not immediately flooding the engine with fuel right now. We haven't switched on the engines, that would be crazy. Okay. A couple of other things that I know I'm going to have to do in a second, but just while I'm here, we've got the evacuation system. Normally you change it from just the captain being able to request the evacuation or call the evacuation to the captain and the purser, that's the chief flight attendant on board. Other thing that we need to do while we're here, turn off the white light for crew supply. So the crew supply sitting in the jump seats also get oxygen in the event of an emergency depressurization. Words. Okay, what other white lights do we have on here? Nothing on the middle panel, that's bright light. Anything down here? Nope, it's all looking good. Again, just while I'm here, a few things that I may forget about, so I'm going to turn on the backup compass and the... what else? So seatbelts should be on, no portable devices should be on. Actually, you don't turn on the seatbelt sign until you've finished fueling, but simulator. And this is, again, this is why you need to follow a checklist, because I'm getting distracted by all this stuff that you shouldn't necessarily need to do right now. Okay, so let's go back to this. Recorder, ground control, flight control. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Recorder, ground control. Okay, should that be on or off? On. Never done that before. Evacuation, purse to capture switch as required. ADARU mode, select 1, 2, 3. That's the inertial reference units. Reset panels left. Reset panels left. What does that mean? Yeah, whatever. All good. Tick. What's the worst that could happen, right? External light strobe auto, beacon off, nav and others as required. So strobe to auto, beacon to off. That's the important one. So nav and logos, we'll turn them on. We want the beacon is off, and we want the strobes to auto. What else do we need? We don't need the wing lights on, don't need the runway turn off lights on just yet. What we have though is the APU is started. So what we can actually do, okay, APU gen is on, so we can turn off these external power sources, and we can turn on the APU bleed, which means we can now start to disconnect from the outside world. Done our lights. Seatbelts on. I've set it to on. I feel very bad for doing that because we haven't fueled. No portable devices to auto. Emergency exit lights I've set to arm. Probe window heat set to auto. So it's either on or auto. That's correct. Tick. Cabin pressure landing elevation auto. This is the one thing that I hate about flying Boeings, is that you've got to manually set the cruise altitude and the landing altitude. Probably not the same in 777s and 787s, etc. What was I doing? Altitude, cabin altitude, pack flow auto. See, this is what happens when you use a checklist. I get shown up for my lack of knowledge on Airbuses as airby. I don't know. Cargo smoke, cabin pressure, landing elevation is set to auto. Fantastic. Let's slide back over here. Cabin pressure, landing elevation, auto, pressure valve select into both. Not in the same area. Cabin pressure select is in both. Correct. Pack flow to norm, so that's on the packs up here. Pack flow is set to, actually set to auto. Is there another option down here? Nope, that's the only pack flow that I see, and that's set to auto, not norm. So that may be an error in the checklist. ECAM electric DC page call. So again, we're going to check batteries, AP batteries off, then auto. That's strange. Sorry, it's annoying me right now that those are so dim. So let me just turn up the brightness on some of these. And this is where I have to find. Oh man, where's the brightness for the upper and lower ECAMs? There we go. It says IRS align in 4 minutes. That's why I always turn on the IRSs as soon as possible. Question is, do we listen to the air traffic controllers while I'm doing this, or is that going to be annoying? Let's do it anyway. So 121.755. Some reason that's not showing up. See if I can get that to work. There we go. X-Pilot. So we've got Lisbon ground on 121.755. So let's listen to those planes taxiing around. 121.755. Hopefully, let me just check the audio settings. Turn that down a bit. Apply. Okay. Flip flop. We should start to hear those talking. We'll see. And if we don't, then I'll switch over to approach and we can listen to them landing and, or coming into land and taking off and departing the area. Where were we? Electric ECAM DC page, I did not actually call that up. So if I go down here to the ECAM controls, I can do electric DC. So you've got all the batteries. I'm not going to mess around turning it on and off. Call it. I'm not going to go through 10 seconds waiting for amps to change. Fuel tank, fuel T tank mode auto. So that's the tail tank, which again we covered in part 1 of this video that didn't go particularly well. So we have tail tank, feeders in auto. Okay, so that's fine, that's in auto there, which means that it's going to manage our weight and balance with fuel, sending fuel from the tail tank to the wing tanks after we get to a certain weight. Engine 1 to fire, push button in and guarded. Agent 1, Agent 2 lights out. Yep, we looked at those before. I did press the fire test button because it's fun. Maintenance panel. Maintenance panel. Where's the maintenance panel? Just shout it out if you see it. Won't be able to hear you, but I will find it funny. Maintenance panel. So there's the ventilation panel. We know the lights are out, aren't they? Let's say yes. Same with ventilation panel. We've just seen that. Cargo air conditioner temperature. Yeah, we've got no dogs on board, so people are just going to have chilled baggage. That's fine. Same for cargo to the forward compartment. ACP3PA. Listen, no idea what that means, but I imagine it's going to be here, where we can listen to they just bing, don't they? Okay. CVR test, that's cockpit voice recorder test. Press and release, so that'll be up here next to the recorder. Just lost sight of it. Where was it? Fuel, evac, command, GPWS, passengers, recorder, flight control, flight, rest. What am I looking for again? CVR test, cockpit voice recorder test. I don't actually see a flight recorder test. Okay. Again, it's a simulator. The FAA is not going to be checking our CVR. Reset panels, right, check. Everything's lights off. Standby instruments, check. So I looked at those before, and we will check the baro settings on them, the pressure settings. North reference, check off. North reference is in magnetic right now. We don't want it to be true, because you can see that it adjusts our heading. We are not flying so close to the poles that a magnetic heading is wildly inaccurate. We can trust the magnetic heading. We don't need to switch to true. So that's off. ECAM DMC. What on earth is that? ECAM. Oh, so that's switching between the different screens. ECAM DMC. So this allows you to switch. Let's say you've got a failure of one of these screens. You can actually switch the these around. Oh no, that's the data source. So you can either have it from auto, which means that the data comes from computer 1 and computer 2, or a sensor on the captain's side and a sensor on the co-pilot side, or you can switch these screens around. So if this screen failed, I can still check my ECAM settings by moving it there, or I can send it across to the co-pilot side. So yeah, that's all fine. ECAM ND transfer, we've checked that. The clock is there. Yep, it's fitted, it's ticking. Check. Landing gear gravity extension, check off. It's off by default. Anti-skid nose wheel steering is on, so that's over here. We've got anti-skid nose wheel steering is on. In fact, if we turn it off, we get ping on there, and we don't have a ping on there, so that's fine. RMP, which is radio management page, I think, something like that.
539, stand 123, shut and tag to ATC, have a good evening. 5 defensive flying, bye-bye.
So RMP, is that right? Can't be, there's no such thing as an RMP nav light. What does that mean? Genuinely confused by that, you know. Okay, let's just say it's done. Com frequency, tune. Yeah, we've just tuned in the ground. ACP, int knob, out volume, check. I mean, we can hear them, so that's fine. We're not going to fly an HF, so HF is what you use across the Atlantic and long stretches of water. High frequency signals go further than VHF. VHF just happens to be much higher quality. Accumulator pressure, now then. That is accumulator brake pressure. Whoa, it's over here. Accumulator pressure is good, maybe. It's above the green. Green doesn't seem particularly good. I don't know. It's got some pressure. That's fine. Accumulator pressure checked. Parking brake is on because I switched it off before. Brake pressure check. So actually, this is a good one. So if you're flying like a light aircraft, like a Cessna, when you push the toe brakes, you want to feel resistance. That's the brakes. And you also do this just before you come into land. You check the brakes again, make sure that you've got resistance on your toes.
Lisbon ground, good evening. Iberia 5 Romeo Whiskey, stand 126, ready for push and start. Iberia 5 Romeo Whiskey, Lisbon, hello, squawk 3346.
He's going to have to read it back. And if your toes were to go all the way down,
Iberia 5 Romeo Whiskey, thank you, pushback start approved facing north.
then your brake fluid is leaking out, so you've got no brakes on landing.
Say again for Iberia 5 Romeo Whiskey, I read you 2.
3346.
Iberia 5 Romeo Whiskey, thank you, pushback start approved facing north. Forever face north, Iberia 5 Romeo Whiskey.
I know you said Iberia, it sounded like Siberia. Anyway, brake pressure, let's say it's checked. Switching panel, check norm, I don't know what that means. Thrust levers, check idle. Yep, all the way back to the stops. Thrust reverse levers, check stowed. That's it up, that's it stowed, correct. So I've got buttons on my joystick for that, because I'm cool. Engine 1 and 2 masters. This was literally the first thing we checked. Still off. Good. Still norm. ATC standby. So ATC is standby, which is really the transponder. TCAS is also standby. Altitude reporting on. ATC altitude reporting on.
6 Whiskey, Lisbon. Lisbon, ground, hello, Finnair 906 Whiskey, on the ground, taxiing via Golf, requesting gate. Finnair 906 Whiskey, welcome to Lisbon, taxi Golf, Quebec, Mike Alpha, stand 116.
Systems on 1.
Stand 116 via Golf, Quebec, Mike
FMS
Alpha,
prepare.
Finnair 906 Whiskey.
So we are going to load up a company flight plan, which is going to be LPPT EGNT01. That should give us, oh, hang on, LPPT EGNT01. That should totally be in there. Did I download that? Definitely thought I downloaded that. LPPT EGNT01. Let's see if we can just take off the 01. I click on that. So it's definitely there. It's in the right location. If I do LPPT / EGNT. There we go. So it's loaded in the flight plan. It's different ways. That's Lisbon, Newcastle 01. So yeah, this is the weird thing. You save it as a 4-letter per airport code, and it translates it into the IATA 3-letter code, which is what you normally see on your luggage tags, but it's not the airport codes that are used on the pilot side, the flying side. So our code, our flight today is Tomjet 84 Romeo, and I need to bring up, hang on, I'm doing some direction here, so let's turn off X pilot, and then if I go to plugins, AviTab, toggle tablet, go to charts.
96 Whiskey, you are on Tango now. Continue to Mike and Alpha. Yes, sorry for that. I didn't find Mike. Continue via Mike and Alpha. 96 Whiskey.
Here we go. So we've got this
Yeah,
all went.
to reference, Quebec was the first one to the right on Golf. This is the second one, no problem, no traffic.
No traffic. So this is.
Iberia Alpha, Romeo Whiskey, ready to taxi.
It's busy tonight, isn't
Iberia
it?
Alpha, Romeo Whiskey,
So we've got our
taxi
cost
on
index is
0.245
59.
via Alpha and Java.
Total packs. There goes our packs on this. If not, it's on here. Packs 374. 374. Didn't detect the first two button presses.
Ground, can I turn left right here? I can't find Mike taxiway. I don't know if I have to go all the way
59 on the
front
CI.
or if I can turn left here. Mike is all the way down to the left, but if you want to take Yankee then Alpha, that's fine too.
Okay, what was our cruise altitude?
I will take Yankee and Alpha. Thank you. 96 Whiskey. Roger.
380. You can see that, can't you? Yes. 380. 380. IRS init. So these are all aligned on GPS. So if we've got maps, we've got maps. We've got the PFD. I have a route, which is nice. What else do we need in the FMS? We need to also fuel this aircraft. So let's bring back the AviTab toggle tablet, shrink it down, and then zoom in because we need to go to the fuel page. Here we go. So zero fuel weight will be 379, which rings a bell from our last flight. Loading. Okay, so packs. Let's see, what's our fuel? We're going to take total fuel 43.6. And yeah, that actually makes sense. We'll round it up to 45. We will do a quick refuel. Cargo payload is going to be 82, but we also need to fit 374. So we've got, for some reason, one person hasn't made it to the flight. That's so random. So we are well within the flight envelope. What is our, so if I apply these load settings and then go to weight and balance, our zero fuel weight is showing as 312 and it should be 379. So we need to put some extra stuff on board. So what we'll do is we'll take 82, so let's take 40, oh no, there's our zero fuel weight.
Iberia 5 Romeo Whiskey, contact Lisbon, approach 119, that's 105, bye-bye.
Okay, so no cargo at all.
Switch it to approach Iberia 5 Romeo Whiskey.
Sorry everyone, we left your bags behind. So that's all done for that. We also now need to figure out what runway we're taking off from, which I'll have to make contact with the guy, which means I also need to grab a notebook from somewhere. Just talk amongst yourselves. There we go. Nice clean sheet of paper. So, just make a quick note, so we are Tomjet 84 Romeo. We are on stand 302. There's also Airtours for us to pick up. So let's bring back our good friend, Mr. X-Pilot. And we'll get the Airtours on here, which is B. So I always put a B, put it in a box, just so I know that that's the Airtours letter. And the QNH is 1020, QNH 1020. Let's have a look. Expect ILS approach, runway in use 20, TRL 50, medium and LGT aircraft. Expect position uniform for departure. Takeoff available distance 2412 meters. If unable, advise before pushback. Expect approach, runway in use 20. So expect position uniform for, so it's runway in use 20. That's what we were looking for. So if we go down here and put flight plan, LPPT, departure 20, and if we just bring up the flight plan, toggle tablet, over to there, and rather than zooming in, if I just switch the page, we are looking for an Ixida 1 Sierra. So Ixida 1 Sierra, Ixida 1 Sierra, insert that, and we should now see there we go. So we're going to take off, and then we're going to turn right, and then head north.
Lisbon, bonjour, no flight plan.
Bonjour. So takeoff performance, we've now got 20. Intersection 2 feet. I've got it in feet, and he's given it in meters. That times it by 3.3.
France 1 Papa Alpha, your flight plan has been received. Information Bravo now current. QNH 1020. Cleared Shuttle, Exit 1 Sierra departure, squawk 2235. Yeah, VX 1 Sierra departure, squawk 2235 1 Papa.
Excellent, the wind is
Advance 1 Papa Alpha,
straight
deck
down
correct,
the middle of the runway. 200 degrees, 6 knots. We are dry, anti-ice is off, takeoff weight is auto, maybe. Takeoff weight 439701. 223.9. That's got no bearing on that whatsoever, so we need to set that to 439.7. 439.7, and our takeoff CG is going to be zero fuel weight CG is 21, but our gross weight CG is 31.1. Does it not give me the takeoff CG? No. Okay, so we'll use that one. 31.1, takeoff perf. 31.1. Thrust, we're going to do a toga takeoff because it doesn't do flex. Configuration, we will use the 12,000 foot runway. We're pretty light on fuel, but we've got quite a lot of payload. Let's do toga, flaps 1. Air conditioning packs will be on, and then if we compute that, there we go, that's what I like to see. So ASD, accelerate stop distance of 5,000 feet. Maximum V1 is going to be 7994, and we're still going to have loads, we're still going to have 4,000 feet, a third of the runway to stop in. So that is all looking good for us. Where are my checklists? Checklists, FMS, prepared, loudspeaker, we don't need that. Barrow reference. So I did promise that I was going to set the correct pressure setting on here, 1020. There you go. 1020, and we'll set the pressure setting up here as well. Does that change it on that side? Yes, it does. That's helpful. Let's see. Barrow reference is set. Flight director check on. Got flight director is on. ILS is off at the moment because we're not landing. ND mode range, I'll sort that out later. VOR AD off selection, we're not going to use that. We're just going to use the magenta line. FCU set. So we need to get our departure clearance. And who are we talking to again?
Advance 1 Papa, thank you. Pushback setup approved, facing north.
Lisboa ground.
Facing north 1 Papa.
Lisboa ground, good evening. Tomjet 84 Romeo, stand 302, Airbus A300-900, Airbus A330-900, request departure clearance.
Tomjet 84 Romeo, Lisbon ground, confirm stand number?
302 according to X-plane, Tomjet 84 Romeo.
Okay, Roger, I have you at 301, confirm there's an empty apron on your left hand side?
Affirm, yes.
Roger, then you are at 301, information Bravo, now current QNH 1020, clear to Newcastle, Exita 1, Sierra departure, squawk 5217.
Clear to Newcastle via the Ixia 1 Sierra departure, squawk 5217, Tomjet 84 Romeo.
Tomjet 84 Romeo, read the correct report ready.
We will 5217. 5217. I don't want to put that to auto because that'll put me in mode Charlie immediately, so I'll start showing up on people's screens. Let's see, FCU is set, oxygen crew supply, check, we're not going to use oxygen. EFIS, DMC, did that before. PFD brightness, definitely did that before. I've checked the PFD, we've checked the ND, we've checked ECAM, checked landing elevation auto. So ECAM, go into the pressure screen. Let's press. Press. To the bleed screen. Press. Right in front of me. I was like, I'm sure it's there. I just can't see it. So landing elevation is auto. That's absolutely fine, and it's set to 270 feet, and I know that Newcastle Airport is at 264 feet-ish. I think that's the highest point on the touchdown zone, so that is correct. ECAM STS, what on earth does that mean? Is that status? STS? Status, normal. Perfect, yes. ECAM STS, check, of course it's, yeah. Checked it. IRS aligned, we've checked that as well. Fuel quantity, let's just check our weight and balance. We said our fuel was going to be ISCS. We put 45 tons in, and we have 44,880 because we're burning fuel with the APU, so that's all correct. Fuel quantity, take-off briefing, we are soon going to take off. Briefing complete. Next, push back and start. Load sheet, yep. Fuel quantity, just checked it. Seating position, yep, nice and comfortable. Hood, not installed on this this plane. Take-off data, check revise, yeah, let's say it's fine. MCDU, into config. So APU is running. So we've turned off the external power, we've turned on the APU bleed, we've checked that that's off, we haven't disconnected it. So if we go into ISCS, ground services, turn those off, still got the chocks on, so turn that off as well. Disconnected. So we need to get our clearance, and then we need to turn the beacon on. Let's just check which stand are we actually at. Because this says 302. And he said, do you have an apron to your left? Do we have an apron to our left? Kinda. Where on earth is 301 then? Is that on this side? Oh. Yeah. Nope, that's 401. Surely 301 is... Ah, those are both 302. That is annoying. So yeah, we were at 301. I need to update that. So 301, we're on 5217. So we need to get pushback clearance, and then we need to turn on our beacon and start the engines. Let me just double check. We're APU bleed on, APU is on, the external power is off. We are ready to go. Tomjet 84 Romeo, request push and start.
Tomjet 84 Romeo, scoop mode Charlie.
Mode Charlie, Tomjet 84 Romeo.
Tomjet 84 Romeo, thank you. Pushback and startup is approved, facing south on 2 Victor.
Push and start approved, face south on 2 Victor. Tomjet 84 Romeo. So now if I hide X-Pilot, I've got that. I'm going to turn on the beacon.
taxi, uniform, left,
Beacon is
Golf,
on.
then Alpha, stand.
Oh, look at
143.
that. Look at that. So nostalgic. I wish Airtours was still around so they could fly these amazing Airbuses. What on earth was I?
Portugal 81,
Oh yeah,
the uniform, left Golf,
Ground to
Alpha,
copy.
stand
Please
143.
show me where you want to go.
So which way is south? I need to face to the right.
Air France 1 Papa Fair, short of uniform.
Better push back.
Ground to
Start
copy.
push back.
France
Please
1
show
Papa
me where you want to go.
Continue uniform, holding point uniform 5. Contact approach 119 at decimal 105, bye bye.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Approach 119.
Toga's driving up.
Connect.
Okay.
Portugal 81 Lisboa.
Engine start. Thrust levers to idle. Check.
Portugal 81, muito boa noite. Turn left
Engine
Golf,
start
Alpha,
to
stand
ignition
143.
start. Check. Starting engine 1. Push. And you can see the engine motors come on automatically. You can hear the tug somewhere. Just under the nose. So starting engine 1 master.
Okay, all doors and
Yes.
hatches are closed.
On.
Ready to connect.
Connect away. If we shut the door, we've even shut the door. We are so organised today. Oh, that's not the camera mode I was expecting. I don't know who Ben Crossland is, I'll be honest with you. But his name's on a plane, so he must be very cool. That enormous Trent, I think the Trent 8000s on the A330-900. They're massive, they sound amazing. And you can see the nose is being lifted up.
Tow connected and bypass spinning circuit. Release parking brake.
Parking brake released, and we have nose wheel steering.
Starting
hang on.
pushback. You may start the engine.
Fuel, no weight, CG data. Did I forget to put in the CG data? Performance? Probably did. It's something I would forget. Here we go. Zero fuel weight was I want to say 379. Zero fuel weight. I don't think that's correct. ISCS. Loading perf. Zero fuel weight 379. And a zero fuel weight of 27. So 379 and 27. Which is different from what I put on the screen before. I'm not quite sure which one is the real one. And then 27. Was it 0.1 or 0.4? 0.4. 27.4 for the CG. It's not allowing me to fill that in, so I must be happy now. No weight, CG data. I mean, there is. There definitely is now. Sure, we got this last time. Nose wheel steering disconnected as you'd expect. Engine number 1 is on. Turn on engine number 2. While we're here, we're going to arm the speed brake. So we're now on taxiway Victor. And I think we now get... That must be Victor. Oh, why has he asked us to face south? Wouldn't it have been easier to face north? Need to go all the way up now.
906, muito boa noite. Continue Golf, Quebec, Mike Alpha, stand 115.
So I'm going to go November Lima. I don't know where he's going to take us. Uniform at some point, I guess. I think he meant south on there, not south on there. Oh well. We can always just turn left slightly and go down there instead. So we'll have to set the parking brake in a moment. How's our engines doing? All good. I'm going to get rid of that fuel.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Parking brake is set.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
No worries. Continue Golf, right Alpha, Central 15.
Golf right Alpha 15, apologies once again, Intel 106.
No problem, but
Okay. So our nose should be going down. This is disconnecting. Disconnecting hand signals. You do actually see them appear out the window, which is a little creepy, but there we go. So engine 1 is on. Engine idle parameters are fine. Starting engine 2 announce. Engine 2 parameters. Let's just double check. 19.1, 9.1. EGT is within a few percent of each other. After start, taxi clearance, and then
Tow is
nose lights.
disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Thank you, sir. We'll do that now. Not going to do that. Parking brake. Let's get taxi clearance. This is going to require a lot of letters. So, where's my ex-pilot? Tomjet 84 Romeo, request taxi.
Tomjet 8 for Romeo. Roger, sorry, I'm having a sneeze attack. Just out of curiosity, what kind of pushback did you use? GSX, right? The other two?
Better pushback. I think I've gone onto uniform rather than Victor. Apologies.
Yeah, that's no problem, but I'm just curious, was it like a standard pushback from a program or a custom pushback?
It was better pushback. It's a plug-in for X-Plane.
Oh, roger, many thanks. Okay, no problem, there's no traffic on uniform. Taxi, holding point, Tango 5, runway 20 via Victor, Mike and Tango.
Taxi 2, holding point, Tango 5 for runway 20 via Victor, Mike and Tango. Tomjet 84 Romeo.
Correct, and that's assuming you require full length, correct?
If full length, Tomjet 84 Romeo.
Roger.
Cool, so we're not even going to get the uniform departure.
Thank you so much for your service and a very good afternoon and happy birthday.
Where's Mike? So straight ahead, left on Mike,
That was
all the way over to Tango. Ah, Tango. Mike, Tango.
Yeah, pretty valid one disconnecting. Happy birthday to someone I don't know. Okay, happy birthday.
Muito obrigado, até la próxima, 8-1.
Straight ahead, first left. And then stay on that one. Okay. So I'm going to get my feet on my rudder pedals, even though I've got an axis on my joystick which is set for the nose tiller. So we've got taxi clearance, parking brake is now off, brakes. So yes, we'll do a BRI check. So the first thing we do is we'll roll forward.
1906, go ahead.
Sure, a quick little message. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Happy Easter. Bye bye.
And happy Thanksgiving as well.
And then I'm just going to
Right, thank you.
push
Bye.
the brakes. So that's brakes. Next thing we do is rudder, which is basically can we steer left and right. So that's the rudder pedals left and right. It doesn't give you a lot of steering on the ground. Now if we try the nose tiller, yep, we get quite a lot of left and right. So we want to turn left onto Mike. So Mike 5 is there, but we don't want to go onto Mike 5, we just want to turn left here onto Mike. And we should have a TAP Portugal just taking off next to us in a moment. Or it's just coming to land, one of the two. So we're going to go up this way. We're going to run parallel, I believe, to that terminal there. We're not going to turn up there. We'll go this way. I'm going to set the flaps to 1. Love the sound of those engines. So far behind the cockpit. That looks like Mike, and it is. Oh, we've got a 4-engine jet. Ooh, that's very loud. Yeah, I'm not going to do that again. That was quite loud.
Portugal 445, welcome to Lisbon, taxi stand 412 via Mike and Lima.
So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 left.
144, see if he's supposed to
One.
Portugal 445.
144 will... Are you sure it will fit 144?
Sorry, confirm the taxi for the 445.
445, taxi Mike, Alpha, and are you sure stand 144 is big enough for 340-600?
That's cool.
I think it is big enough for us. I don't really know. They're Portugal 445. I'll continue by
So,
But if you've been on there, no reason to doubt, Mike and Alpha stand 144.
Mike and Alpha T144 Portugal.
so the A340, we've got 2 more of these to pass. The A340-600 is a 4-engine stretched version of the older version of this aircraft, and it's famous for being the longest. It was famous for being the longest aircraft in the world. So he's just basically saying, "Are you sure? Are you absolutely sure that?" Hang on, is this Tango? This looks like Tango. Yes. Basically saying, is the parking gate that you've asked for big enough for an A340-600? Because I imagine there's probably not a lot of gates around the world that are suitable for an A340-600. And the aircraft that took the A340-600's crown was, as this EasyJet is either slowing down or accelerating, slowing down, was the Boeing 747-8 in the Intercontinental, which is the passenger version, or the F, the freighter version. But that huge latest 747, the jumbo jet, was
And I ran the Eco Papa.
then the longest. Sorry, that's really loud.
Alpine 7 Fire Papa, hello, stand 117 Fire Golf.
So, I'm cleared to Tango 5 only. So I won't be allowed to cross. I won't be allowed to cross that runway.
Uniform Golf.
That's Tango 2. Hoping that's Tango 3. That's Tango 4. And then Tango 5 has got a crossbar on it. Okay. Stop bar.
Correct.
So that flashy one there is Tango 5. Now then, I don't see anything on approach, so I expect we'll get cleared across Tango 5 now. I hope. I don't want to stop. Come on. Come on, ground. clear me across.
Tomjet 84 Romeo, unfortunately for ATC for crossing, natuurlijk op
122.8, thanks Tomjet 84 Romeo, great service tonight.
Alpine 75 Papa.
Okay, so we are cleared to cross the runway.
117, bye-bye.
Continue, Alpha, stand to get to 17, I've been 74, Papa.
What I'm going to do is just make sure that we are really visible. I'm going to turn on the strobes and the landing lights. I don't care if people think we're taking off, we are super visible right now. Look at all that. Last long haul I did was from India, and I just love the late night or the early morning takeoffs from Delhi airport. Where it's just everything just quietens down. Usually after a manic ride or a manic domestic flight up to Delhi, and then everything just chills. So you just sit back in your British Airways seat or your Virgin Atlantic seat and just watch the strobes flash at the end of the wings. Just get ready to fly home. Great feeling. So I'm going to get up here and I'm just going to stay as left as I can be. We're on Unicom. The approach controller is now offline. Pull the throttles back a bit because this is quite a tight corner. This is a big, big aircraft. Takes ages for the nose wheel steering to actually turn, and even longer to unwind. But I think I'm getting the hang of it. Nearly at the end of the runway, and then we've got to do a 2.5 hour flight. What was the time? Yeah. Pushing it now. I've heard northern France was lovely this time of year. So, because we're on Unicom, we're just going to climb straight to our cruise altitude of 380. I will double check that on the performance screen. Nope. Flight plan. Nope. Progress. Optimal is 388. 388 or 380? 388. So we are fine to take off and climb straight to 380. On course, as the Americans say. So we've got flaps in 1, we've got takeoff config is green. I really want to have a look outside, but I know it'll blow everyone's ears out. So finally, we are at runway 20, full length. Lisbon traffic, Tomjet 84 Romeo lining up and taking off, runway 20, Lisbon. Lisboa.
3 Zulu, holding shuttle runway 17, advice for traffic, Cascais traffic.
Oh, look at those lights. I find you've got to use differential braking a little bit to catch it before it goes a bit crazy on the steering. Get nice and straight. Push it all the way through to Toga. Takeoff speed's not inserted. Yeah, that's true. I didn't set the V speeds up. We'll just wing it. Now that wasn't in the checklist. It just said was it FMU? FCU prepare? That's not enough. I need more information than that. So 140. And we are airborne. Let's get those gear up. Vertical speed. There's slight retract speed. So we should go back into toga mode in just a second. There's the old outer marker. That is brilliant. Still complaining that we haven't put the weight in the CG in. Now it's saying lever back to the climb detent. So we'll drop the nose. Reduce the noise.
Cascais traffic, Jet 3 Zulu taking off runway 17, Cascais traffic.
Cash. Don't know where that is. So, autopilot is engaged. Three at 0 on the climb. I'm going to try... No, let's do the after takeoff checklist. So we did all of this, obviously. We've done the FCU altitude set, we haven't set the heading.
The ground is out.
What? FLT instruments, flight instruments checked, didn't do that actually.
Does the ground is out?
Are you saying me or asking?
Sorry, asking, is the ground out?
For Lisbon? You're talking about Lisbon airport, correct?
Yes, Lisbon ground.
Yes, from Lisbon ground is still available.
Thank you.
Did I put the strobes on? I did put the strobes on. Turn off the landing, turn off the nose lights because the landing gear is now stowed away in the belly. It's very slow at the top of the stall region there. I'm not sure why that is. Might be related to the lack of good weight and balance information, to be fair. So if we go back into init, 0 fuel weight, that's correct. That is all correct. Yep, I don't know what's complaining about. So we are climbing through flight level 7-8 at the moment. Don't know what the transition altitude is, but about right. Takeoff clearance was got. We did that, but now it's off. Runway turn off lights on. Takeoff announced. Brake off. Yeah, did all of this. Whoops. Didn't start the chrono, which I never do. Always forget. Wash. Now get a little timer down here. We also have an aircraft below us on the ground with its mode Charlie on. There it is. Floating through the seat, just like in real life. Chrono, start, directional control, FMA. We're airborne, so all of this was done. It's crazy how this is in the checklist. So flaps are up, ground spoiler's not disarmed. Let's disarm the ground spoiler. There we go. Check landing gear, check up. Did I raise the landing gear? I did. That's good. External light nose is off. Runway turn off lights. Runway turn off lights is off as well. After takeoff checklist. APU bleed to off. APU bleed to off. Check. APU master switch to off. Hope that the electricity doesn't turn off the whole aircraft. Off. TCAS, T-A-R-A. Traffic advisory, resolution advisory. So we are in TARA. ATC is on 1, that's on, and we're squawking. Correct, and then anti-ice is required. Not required because we're in Portugal and it's glorious outside. Okay, in the climb, ECAM memo review. So we go to recall. Still have this thing on here, fuel no weight data. I think you've got to set that before the engines start turning, otherwise it will give you that error message. But apart from that, and hit status, everything is normal. Clear, and we're back to the cruise page. ECAM sys pages, done. Sys pages actually. Yeah, all good. Fuel monitor, obviously, nav accuracy monitor, step flight level, we're just going to go straight to 380 with our radar as appropriate and monitor the cabin temperature. And next thing is the descent. Oh no, hang on, is there a cruise? Oh yeah, so we'll go through the cruise later. Don't worry about that. We'll just reset that for now. So there we go, that was slapdash as heck. How do I turn off these silly downlighter things? It's going to be somewhere weird, isn't it? Floodlights, integrated lights, it's going to be that one. Nope, I want that one, but I don't want the floodlights. I don't want this thing on, which I think is the dome light. Nope, not that one. How do I turn that one off? Must be down here somewhere. So engine start should be back into normal. Flaps are up. I wonder. It's going to annoy me now. How on earth do I turn that light off? It has to be here, because that's where the interior light switches are. So just go to dim, and that's it.
Cascais traffic, Project 30, go around. Cascais traffic.
Okay, so anyway, we're heading northeast right now. And we will reach our top of climb in between Exceeder, which is the exit point of our SID, Standard Instrument Departure. We'll get to 380 there, and then we'll just follow this route up. So we put 45 tons of fuel on board, so our current fuel burn is 10.3 tons per engine in the climb. So we'll have a look at what this is in the cruise. So 10.3 tons either side, like 21 tons of fuel per hour. And we've only brought 45. But once we get into the cruise, that will be much lower fuel burn, and it'll be even less as we come in to descend into Newcastle. Seatbelt signs are still on. Let's turn those off. People can start roaming around. We'll let people use their portable electronic devices. We're above 10,000 feet, so landing lights can come off, beacon lights will stay on, strobe lights are on, wing light is off. We'll put the nav light into 1, so that's the wing lights, the little red and green lights on the tips, and the white light on the tail. But all the lights are out. As I've mentioned, dark cockpit in an Airbus is a good thing. When things aren't normal, things start to light up. So those lights are both off. Those aren't switches, that's not a switch. Can anybody see? A light switch. This is really annoying. Far too bright. So as we get higher up as well, you can see the fuel burn, even though we're climbing at the same rate, fuel burn is decreasing, because as you get higher up, there's less air. So actually, to get the engines to spin at the same rate, if you just pump the same amount of fuel in, you would end up with a very rich mixture with a lot of fuel and just a little bit of air. And the beauty of jet engines is the higher they go, and the less dense the air, you get less resistance. So your speed increases. It's still very low at the moment. I think I'm going to override that because I'm not happy with that speed. So let me switch that to Mach. And then we'll put that to Mach 8.1. And then we'll pull that. So it's going to be it won't be a managed speed, it'll actually be a requested speed. So currently it equates to 328 knots. Okay, let's see where we are. Following this river by the looks of things. So we should have... Porto is to the north. Any issues at this point, we're just going to come straight back into Lisbon. We've found the NSA's top secret base there. Don't tell anyone. Really like this part of flights. Means you're either finally going home or you're going somewhere cool. Holiday or for work or something. How's our fuel burn? Down to 9.5 tons each side. So we've burnt just a bit over 7 tons in total. And yeah, we'll probably burn pretty close to 10 tons, climbing up to 380. Currently at 286, flight level 286. And if you think, isn't that just 28,600? You are exactly right, but the important thing here is it's 28,600 on the standard pressure setting, which makes it a flight level. I did a PT session yesterday and my oh, you are joking. You are joking. I think it's crashed again. Ah. Okay. I think I need to stop using the beta versions of Xplane. I'm going to download the production version and then try this again. Joy. Joy of joys. Okay, thank you so much for trying to join me on this flight. Hopefully I'll see you when it's working a bit more effectively and a bit more reliably. For now though, I'm going to bid you good night.